pillars, guys. Restoring the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. Restoring the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. That's number one. Number two, our God-given individual rights to live freely, what our Constitution calls the blessings of liberty.
Oh, yeah, we are back and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Rumble on Rumble number 48, and we're doing it great. We are so excited. And of course, to my right hand, the one, the only, with the master plan. Give it up for your friend, my friend, DJ Protocol.
DJ Protocol.
That's me. I'm that guy. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Pew pews and hand claps, all that stuff.
Awesome. Man, we're going to get right into it. But our guest only has a short amount of time. As we know, his time is valuable. So we got to get him out. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, radio host, superstar, a very important man in turning the tide of the nation to make a better country. A man with all the knowledge and info, and he is returning. Thank you so much. Give it up for the one, the only, AK Kamara.
That's probably the best entrance intro that I ever had. So shout out. What's good, gentlemen?
Coolin', man. Another awesome Sunday in the books. Ready to start off a grueling Monday of a holiday week.
Let's go. It's always the craziest, man. No, things are going well, man. I mean, honestly, like, I'm still riding that high from that Trump victory. You know, I'm a huge data nerd, dude. So, like, I like to pour through the numbers, see where we hit improvements at, where we can make improvements, where we were lacking at. And, man, I feel super, super good going forward. All these cabinet picks are out. Some of them are meh, but, I think there's always a plan and a strategy. Like, some people, I think, forget that Trump is not a dude that just, like, does stuff off the cuff. Like, this dude has vision that's unlike anyone other. But, yeah, man, that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling gravy.
Right.
Heck yeah.
Right. You hit it on the head. A lot of people miss that strategy. A lot of people forget the art of the deal, the dude who understands the art of the war, you know what I'm saying? How to win and kick ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, people forget that this is a fucking genius in his own right, you know? And we have to realize that and be ready to tackle. And that's where I'm at with it, with it all. Like, yeah, I'm enjoying the high, but I know we got to tackle these regular people, these people who are being poisoned by the superstars of it all, right? And they're going to hinder us, bro. They're going to hinder us. So I'm ready to kick ass. Like, I'm enjoying the high, but like when I get high, I like to motherfucking tackle some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's time to party. We had the party time, but now it's time to go to work. You know what I'm saying? And as you said, there is a plan in what he's doing, right? There's something he's doing here that, yeah, let's go ahead, y'all. We got a lot of money finna come back in play. We got some policies that if we use as citizens, well, we can be the best that we've ever been, but we got to pay attention. Don't get thrown off by, you know, the DI and the abortion. And okay, look, fuck that. He's getting rid of the public education. Why? Because he wants to put more money in your pockets, maybe?
Yeah.
He wants you to control it. So here's how we control it. And let's make it work. And we'll talk more about it, but because I want to know your feel on the sentiment of the everyday regular degular people, you know, because I believe you live in like a blue district or you're close to a blue district. Even though there's a lot of Republicans, there's a lot of blue folk on the ground here. So like I want to know how your people are, like your regular blue people, your auntie, cousins, you know, neighbors, church members, like their mindset of moving forward with dealing with Trump, or are there the, oh my God, he's here, and did you hear about the text messages? We're really about to go on plantations. Because there's a lot of those.
Yeah, man. Whenever you want to jump into that, you just let me know. But yeah, man, I mean, like I said, you know, I'm the Republican National Committee man for the state of Minnesota. And so like one of my goals that's kind of like an unspoken goal and role is to be able to help our party here in the state. So like technically I'm only supposed to go to whatever my 3 committee meetings per year. I get put on different subcommittees, or I'm appointed to different committees I can run. But like when I'm back here in Minnesota, like there's not necessarily like a specific, like, here's what you have to do. So for me, it's like, here's what I want to do. I want to be able to grow our brand. I want to be able to make inroads in groups and communities that we don't have. And because I was gifted with the ability to talk in ways that people tell me that I can break down more complex political issues into like everyday, like make it make sense for people that are not so politically inclined. That's what my hope is. So like, I think to your point, I can get into that specifics of giving you my analysis, at least about what happened in Minnesota and other states, and what's the difference, for instance, between Minnesota and Wisconsin and Minnesota and Michigan, states that flipped to Trump versus Minnesota stayed Democrat when it comes to president. So,
but paying attention to that, to speak to that, you did make gains.
Yeah.
And if you notice the last 3 elections, you've made gains every single time, held those gains, and then increased on those gains from the first Trump to now, specifically. So I think that's awesome. Definitely was hoping you get into that, because you are fighting the good. You are that blue state. You're the red guy in that blue state. And a lot of us, we're in these red states, or, we're working just as hard as you, but you're still fighting that good fight. And sharing with us about that too, we're excited to know about as well, man.
Yeah. So like really the analysis is, what is the difference between Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, right? Because we all have similarly situated populations. We have decent amounts of labor and farm that are kind of mixed into the state. We have about the same approximately percentages of Black American versus white, or white versus all others. Like we're kind of all similarly situated. We have similar religious backgrounds, similar like even places where people came from that settled in these states. But yet Minnesota is this outlier, right? We haven't now at this point voted Republican for our statewide office for president, I should say, for president. We haven't voted Republican since 1972. And we thought maybe we would flip that trend. So like way back in 84, when Ronald Reagan won basically 49 states, he lost Minnesota, so the one state he lost, and the District of Columbia. And so again, going back to 1972. So my analysis is a little bit esoteric, but number one, the difference between our rural versus our urban area or metro area is like night and day. And so you've seen, like the rest of the country in the Midwest, this reddening of our outstate areas. So basically everything outside of like our 11 county metro area has gotten way red, to the point that you can look at districts like even 12 years ago, and the shift is like 30 percentage points, where it used to go Democrat plus 15, and now it's going Republican plus 15, right? So you've seen that entire shading. But in the 11 county metro area, you've seen maybe a little bit of wobble back and forth, but Democrats have maintained an edge. And my argument is Minnesota is one of the few states that the only true, if you want to say legacy or, media apparatus is only legacy media. And so in other states, they've been able to have like offshoots, or they have a very strong, conservative alternative, or at least one of their major legacy media outlets is like somewhat favorable, or like maybe centrist or centrist leaning left. All of our institutions in Minneapolis, St. Paul, our big media institutions, are all like doggedly in the left column. Like, to the point that when Walz was picked as the vice presidential nominee, all of these stories were coming out that people that I would run into on a daily basis were like, hey, why didn't we know about this? And I'm like, well, because you don't follow me or other creators like me, but none of us are so big. Like, none of us are like million subscriber YouTubers. We don't have any of that. The only thing that could get close is like Nick Rekieta with Rekieta Law. And he in the last year has had some issues. So to say the least.
Yeah. He a little hard.
So again, when it comes to like challenging that mainstream legacy narrative, we don't have anything like that. And so basically the Democrats get a free pass. And so what I think you see is that even within our dark blue areas, they are so like ingrained the institutional message of, Democrats are good, they fight for people's rights, and Republicans are bigots and they're evil and they're fascists and they don't. And that narrative is so hard to break. It's like it's close. Like another cycle, if we continue to push the way that we have been, I think we finally will break through. But I think, as crazy as this sounds, what it's going to take to break through that final push is we have to have a competing institution. Now, there's one that's of promise. There's a news outlet called Alpha News. Liz Collins, shout out to Liz Collins. She's become a friend of mine. She's a great reporter, and Alpha News has some other great reporters where they do on the ground here to try and compete. And so they're growing. Like, they produced the documentary Falls Minneapolis. They just came out with a new documentary talking about how many officers that have been killed in the line of duty since George Floyd have happened here in Minnesota. Some wild stories. But again, we need that. And that's my analysis, man. I know it kind of sounds a little bit out there, but as you look across the medium, I think the reason that Trump was so successful this presidential cycle is because, people have said that this is the meme or, the YouTuber podcast presidential election cycle. And I think that is true. It's just certain states like Minnesota, that wave really hasn't hit us. We really haven't been on that piece yet.
Absolutely. Sharon now got the Alpha News up. Looks like they have a documentary called We the People that you had just mentioned that everybody should check out. I love the headlines here. Also, you guys did you guys gain in the Senate, I believe, or the House? Republican.
So our congressional delegation, we have 8 congressional delegates, or I should say congressmen, congresswomen, and we've remained 4 and 4. So we haven't switched. And actually, the crazy part is that basically every single one of our congressional races have been +10. So like the areas where the Democrats have that congressional seat, like the Republicans didn't even sniff within 10 points. The areas that Republicans have it, Democrats didn't even sniff within 10 points. And that's the first time that it's happened where it's that wide of a disparity. And so it's like, again, the red areas are getting redder. The blue areas are staying about the same. But I will say that the one move that was made is that across the state, like you said earlier, Mike, Trump did pick up votes, right? Across the board, he picked up votes. It's just it wasn't enough to overcome the gap that currently exists. Like overall statewide, I should say, Republicans were able to flip 3 of our local state House seats because the Democrats in Minnesota operated a trifecta. They controlled the state House, state Senate, and the governor's mansion. And so right now, there's like 2 recounts happening, and they're probably not going to flip. But that means that the Democrats and the Republicans, literally in Minnesota, we are tied 67-67. And what that means based off of our Constitution is they have to create a co-government. So like they get together and they say, okay, you're going to get X amount of committee seats that you're going to be in control of. And then neither of us is going to have a Speaker of the House. Like there's going to be a Speaker of the House, but like it's not in the traditional way, where if the Republicans had the majority, the Republican caucus votes, and that's who the Speaker of the House is. But because they're 50-50, it means that they're not going to be able to push through all these crazy bills like they did the last 2 cycles, where they just went ham, dude. They were just pushing through everything. So that's the one good thing. So overall, like I said, we picked up some stuff, but not enough to push us over and tip us, which that would have been awesome if we would have been able to flip the state the first time in 52 years for a Republican. That would have been dope.
For sure. I have a question too about, because it seems like we are in a just, there are cycles of blue and cycles of red and that kind of thing. And it definitely, we're by the numbers in a cycle of more things turning red. Also, once again, where you're at, it feels like would be more red than it is. And then if you look at the numbers, say for 3 or 4 specific areas that go like 70% for Kamala or, Democrat, there's a lot of red there too. Do you feel like, and because people don't know, what's the crime like? Do you feel, because, okay, for instance, a good friend of mine that I've been back and forth on the liberal issues with, is he's very liberal. He actually talked to me. He lives in Hawaii and he went to San Francisco, and he was like, man, I talked to a friend of mine who voted for Trump. And, he went into about how, he wouldn't normally vote for Trump, but the crime and that kind of thing. And do you feel like it's because overall the economics and crime in Minnesota aren't as bad as other places? Or is it we just don't hear about it because it's a Democratic stronghold? And as you said, the mainstream media tells you everything is great there, so you don't get the change that you would see in other places.
Yeah, so it's kind of that latter part, right? Where the crime definitely is still up. And kind of the way that they shade some of this stuff, like I've got into these little, arguments and debates with different people throughout the last couple of years, is they'll be like, oh, crime is down in these areas, which technically is true. But it's like, but it's still way higher than it was pre-2020, right? And so like, this is just the truth. And then I've been able to befriend a bunch of different Minneapolis cops, right? Like all across the spectrum. And they're telling me, like, listen, people aren't even calling the cops anymore, man. Like, if there's a property crime, they're just like, whatever, dude, take the L, because there's a huge problem with staffing levels. So Minneapolis police, before George Floyd, were almost to like, their max numbers, not max, but they were to like their recruiting numbers, their total staffing numbers, which is like 890 officers, right? That's how many officers in total. Those aren't just like, beat cops or whatever, just like the entire department force. They are still hovering around like 500.
Wow.
Like they're down some 300, almost 400 total officers and staff. And at one point they dipped down to like the 400s. And the problem is that the Minneapolis City Council, even though despite all of this crime and all these different things that have happened, like we had crazy spikes in carjackings, just like a lot of other cities had. We had, a spike in homicide that we almost broke our record that we set back in the 90s when we were dubbed Murderapolis or Minneapolis, but we didn't quite break it. But the point is that our city council, like they doubled down because we have ranked choice voting in Minneapolis. And so like all of these crazy leftists get in, the ones that wanted to, reimagine the police, like they wanted to create a new department. And then they put money into violence interrupters, which is a whole grift of like, you're paying like your second cousin's, childhood friend Tukey to like pretend to be like a cop that shows up on scene, and then they don't really do anything. Like it's a whole thing. But when I talk to cops, they're like, bro, crime is still up, man. It's just people aren't reporting it. And we have homeless encampments that keep roving around. Like one will pop up, there'll be like 100 people, someone will get shot, a couple of people overdose, and then the city comes in, they clean it out, and then another one pops up like in 2 weeks, and that keeps on happening over and over again. And also Minneapolis is a sanctuary city. So the state of Minnesota is not a sanctuary state. Thank God they didn't actually pass that bill. It actually died. But Minneapolis is a sanctuary city. So Minneapolis police cannot, unless it's a felony, like it has to be like murder or something like that, right? They cannot and will not at all work with ICE. And so, bro, you see people that like will be standing around like the like memeified version of like, they're hanging out in front of Home Depot. They're hanging out on Lake Street, and they've got power tools and hammers and a utility belt. And people just come by and they're like, "Hey, man, you want to build this deck?" And then people run up to the car and then they take off. Like That's just straight up happening in Minneapolis as well. So like at the end of the day, to answer your question, I think that when you try and compare and say, well, like what's not hitting with average everyday Minnesotans, most people that vote in the suburbs, they don't experience what life is like in Minneapolis and St. Paul. The people that live in Minneapolis, St. Paul feel like there's really no other alternative because it's like the Democrats got that area locked down. And so it's kind of like this cognitive dissonance where when you actually get a story that pops through and percolates to the suburbs, and they're able to actually see like a real story, because sometimes this happens. There'll be like one specific story that like one news outlet, one radio station, one news station will really amplify. And then people are like, oh, what's going on? And then the Democrats will conveniently come in and they'll be like, we're on the right side of this. And then it seems like the Democrats are solving it. So it's like you still get that where it's strategic, man. And that's the problem, is that when the Democrats have had power for so long, their ability to have connections just as a function of being in power for so long is so deeply entrenched. It's hard to have any just any compare and contrast. Like again, with Tim Walz, all of these stories that were hitting nationally, like none of them were hitting in the Twin Cities local media. Like they didn't talk about hardly any of the big national stories were not being even brought up by the local media. Tim Walz didn't do one single press event in Minnesota from the time that he was announced as the vice presidential nominee. Not one single press event in the state of Minnesota. The current governor didn't do one press event as the vice presidential nominee. Yeah, it's weird because he knew that he would get hammered. But did you think that the local media hammered him? They should have every single night. They should have been like, it's now been 70 days and the current governor hasn't done a local press event. But they didn't. They just pretend that it doesn't exist. You know, there was a couple of reporters. One dude that's Tom Hauser, he's at KSTP. He would bring it up online, but he didn't really hammer it. And it's probably, maybe to give him a little bit of credit, it's probably like his editor say like, bro, like chill. Because he would like tweet it and then he'd be like, it's been this many days and Governor Tim Walz hasn't answered any questions from the local media press. But yeah, man, that's kind of my analysis. It's just a lot of people just don't know, man. That's just what it comes down to. Is as crazy as it is, if you're not in the thick of it, seeing it all the time, you're just not going to know, because people still have a level of trust of media for those that still trust the legacy media, which Minnesota, unfortunately, that's one of the things that we have to break through if we really want to make change, in my opinion.
Bro, that sounds like Savannah. Damn, that sounds like Savannah.
By the way, shout out to the chat. Fuego in the building. Haram in the building. Me in the building. Oh, yeah.
What up,
thank you
boys?
guys so much for the, of course, Amy in the building. We got a couple other chatters over on the Rumble side. Thank everyone for tuning in. I appreciate that. And it is, you know, I talk to Pro a lot, and it sounds so similar, right? In that it almost is that these voters suffer from a lack of information. Whether that be a lack of information because they're just not living that experience, or because they're just believing what the media is feeding them. And you know, you're not able to get out there. It's hard. You know, we know that. I call it the Trump treatment, right? When they throw so much at Trump, they're like, he's a racist, convicted felon, you know, pop. And you're like, okay, it's going to take me 20 minutes to break down one of these things, right? Like felony of what, right? But you don't get that. And so it's very hard, especially in this day and age, to kind of break this stuff down and combat that. I fully believe in what we did and how we won, how people like you, by the way, shout out Royce White. Even though he didn't win, man, that was a very influential and exciting campaign. And following it from, you know, a deep red state, it was fun to watch. Also to note, he was quote unquote underfunded, had very, you know, little cash in the war chest, but made such a difference and got so many people excited. That's exciting because it's something you can build on, right? I believe so.
Yeah. I mean, like you know, Royce's campaign. You know, everyone can always sit back and like give their most critical analysis. You know, and I think that Royce, he had the momentum, he had energy, but the truth of the matter is campaigns are not just as simple as like, oh, it's like people like me, so we're gonna win, and we have the people at our back. Like there is a machine involved, and I think what ends up happening is folks that are outside of the machine think that the machine doesn't matter, that they can win despite the machine. And I've tried to give people an easy analysis. Like, I am a person that understands the machine, but I also have very strong core convictions. I would rather go and put the machine on blast and like blow up my entire career than to do something that was against my values. But there is a machine that exists and there is a game that must be played. And my only critique of Royce is that he refused to play the game. He was like, I don't need to play the game. Screw the game. I'm going to go directly to the people. And here's what I mean by the game. There are people that have political power that have access to money in every state. And if you won't go and talk to them, people call it kissing the ring. I don't think so. You just have to convince them because you don't have a natural relationship with them of why you are doing what you're doing. And what I have found is that, sure, there's going to be some people that just are going to be like, listen, we talked. I still don't vibe with what you're doing, or I think you're X, Y, and Z. And that can be a little bit deflating. But I promise that when you're as passionate as you, like as Royce is and myself and other people in our kind of frame, you'll find way more success if you're willing to make yourself vulnerable. So that's like my only critique, is that he was just so set that he wasn't going to play the game, that he was going to just, you know, go with we the people are coming, which is great. But we the people, unless you are highly, highly organized way ahead of time and you have donation, like you have to plan all that out, you are going to need the machine. And I mean, like Kerry Lake is another example where, again, because there was so much tension, it's like, oh, if only the Senate Republican Victory Fund would have funded her fully, then she would have won. And I agree, that is true. But I promise you, she did nothing to endear herself to that process. And that's the problem, is that you can be mad that they're not funding your campaign or whatever. But the question is, what did you do to get them to fund you? And if you're saying, well, I exist, therefore I should be funded, welcome to human beings and relationships. Like that never works that way. That's that, like the whole point is like, life ain't fair. No shit, it ain't fair. And so it's like, you have to just understand that there is a game and you don't have to succumb. You don't have to be turned. If you have strong will, you won't be, I promise you. If you have conviction and you constantly keep yourself in check, you won't become a swamp monster. But you also have to understand how to play the game. So these are the things that I think Trump, like he's a prime example. When Trump first came in 2016, right? He came in with this crazy amount of energy and hype. And it's like, what do you do with this new political alignment that's been unlocked? And he didn't know how to play the game. And the game consumed him. And he had all these people that were blocking him. But then he understood, here's what I got to do. Okay. And I think that losing in 2020 / however you want to say how much ever theft or fraud occurred, but not winning in 2020, I believe has set up something that would have never happened had he got that second term right then and there. The amount of knowledge that he has gained of how to play the game but still retain who you are is invaluable, and it will be the reason why I believe that we usher in a truly like revolutionary, foundational reshaping of our country back to what it needs to be in order to reestablish some type of faith in our institutions. Because that's, to me, what the system currently is no one believes in the institutions at all. All of our faith has been completely, cracked and broken. And there's some that are real, that are coming from communities such as the Black community that haven't been addressed by Republicans ever. And Democrats just do the least, where they say that they're going to address these issues, but then they never do it because, again, why just give up all their political capital? You keep someone coming along. And I think that Trump and the team that he's forming, they're going to do things that are going to be foundationally changing to the structures. So that's where I'm at, man.
So in saying that, like I'm with you all the way, except for the voter fraud, as what was just put up. Because I know, look, I know, and it didn't take but so much in order to, turn it over, right?
Yeah.
What 12,000? No. Yeah, 12,000 here in Georgia. Just 12,000 was the difference in it being red in 2020 or blue in 2020.
Yeah.
And it came from a precinct here with 1,600 votes that nobody can tell where the fucking registered voters are in the precinct. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody can say where the registered voters are. And that's just one county out of 159 with 1,200. It don't take much, you know what I'm saying, to get that 12,000 when you got 1,600 from here, 400 from here, 30 from here out of 159. You can easily slip it through, and they did that. Now there was a game. Um, I I believe he knew how to play the game, and he knew what the game was. He just trusted the wrong people, right? And he said that. And I knew this way before he went on Rogan or any of these other podcasts, right? He went in and certain people told him he had to get this person because of the game, because of politics, right? And he was like, okay, you're right. I don't know anything about this, but you're supposedly the professional at this, right? You seem to be good for me. All right, cool. I'm gonna listen to you. And then in listening to you, like you said, now he did learn. He definitely learned along the way. Fuck you. I don't trust you. This is what you've been doing. And this is what, like, oh, he learned. And then they cheated in 2020. And then everybody learned, right? That's why we have those people who are coming out now. They're like, yeah, I used to say hate Trump, but now I understand. I'm with Trump. And I understand what he's saying. And I see what these motherfuckers tried to kill him twice. You know, now they learning that, you know, you have more people now who know that the Russia gate and the partnership with Putin was some bullshit.
Yeah.
For 4 to 8 years, they believed it was real. And then they found out, oh, wait, this is some bullshit, right? The E. Jean Carroll, oh, this is some bullshit. The his property not really worth $1 billion, it's worth 12 million. Nigga, that's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but people are waking up now. Like you say, the black community, right? They're definitely waking up and they want to be involved. And I don't know if you see it. Like I said, it sounds like we live in some similar situations when it comes to like our state makeup versus, you know what I'm saying, these 11 to X amount of counties that's just heavy black or heavy minority, and they're just stuck on the Democratic, you know what I'm saying, stupidity. And unfortunately, with them being stuck on the Democratic stupidity in the counties where their weight is, they're fucking flipping the states blue. The state's red as fuck. But because of these just few heavily populated areas that's just stuck on the blue tip, it's tipping the scale.
Yeah.
It's
So
tipping the scale and screwing us over.
here's what my analysis is. I think personally that voter fraud has been happening since people started voting, and
Absolutely.
I think that there's always a certain level, and I agree that in certain states, such as Minnesota, where you don't have voter ID, we now have automatic voter registration. We now allow criminal aliens to receive government benefits
Y'all niggas is fraud.
and driver's license, and those two events, if you're not a criminal alien, automatically trigger you to be registered to vote. And we are told by our Secretary of State, don't worry, our system knows the difference between criminal aliens and American citizens that are residents that do have the right to vote. It won't automatically register those people to vote. And if it automatically registers them to vote, that's because they selected the wrong button. So, like, don't get me wrong. I think that is a huge part of the formula in which, yes, I believe that under this next 4 years, that you have Pam Bondi. Like, this is a crazy thing. Matt Gaetz, I thought, was a great pick for AG, right? Pam Bondi, I think, was the B option because they knew that Matt was going to be a little spicy. I don't think it's like his 5D chess as everyone thinks it is. I think they wanted Matt Gaetz, but he just had too many negatives. But I had a personal conversation with Pam Bondi when she came to Minnesota, when she was here doing the election integrity tour. Pam Bondi did the election integrity, like she was like all in that entire program. So when she went around, I think they hit like 30 states, okay, doing election integrity events. And they got to talk to people on the ground to hear, like, what are your issues? And I broke it down to her what was happening in Minnesota, of how there's so much just openness. Because like the way that the system works, I don't think it's like there's like 20 guys that are sitting there in a back room that are like, all right, we're going to put X amount of votes in this area, X amount of votes in this area. No. They just know that if you have a system that allows for fraudulent activity to occur, and then you secondly have a system that you don't have an apparatus of enforcement to actually crack down, that you know that fraud is just going to happen naturally in these areas. Now, this is a crazy thing. There was a story that after the election came out that there was this guy that got arrested in northern Minnesota, and that he was basically like he allowed 12 people or something like that to vote. And I started to see everyone share it, and my radar went off, because when I saw what county it was, Hubbard County, I was like, that is like Donald Trump won like 80-some% of that county. The chances that that election judge was a Democrat are almost 0%. And sure as shit turned out that it was a Republican that did it. And that's the only reason that locally that media actually started to hit, because they're using it to be like, see, Republicans are fraudsters and cheaters. But really what it boils down to is that the system allows for these things to happen when you don't have an enforcement system. So my point of having this conversation with Pam Bondi and what this can lead to is that I told her about how god awful things are here in Minnesota. So I believe that during this administration, because election integrity is one of the key markers that going forward, this is how we actually can win, just by upholding the actual rule of law. Pam Bondi, it's one of her main things that she wants to fix our election system all across this country. So her being attorney general can put an insane amount of investigative pressure on these states that people, I hope, get charged. I hope that people go to jail, because I know that there are people that are doing it. Now, I say all of that to say, yes, I know that fraud happens. It's been happening forever. I think there's ways that we can mitigate it. But I still believe that there are still, outside of the fraud, there are structural issues for why we didn't win certain groups. I think that people have this idea that every single person is just so clearly obvious that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have done such a terrible job. No, motherfucker. There are people that actually think that they do a good job, and they think that they should be in power and that they need to do more. I meet people like that. That's just how
Daily,
the human brain works. Like they truly are on the left. They think that the left is doing the right thing. And so what our job and our goal should be, as people that actually want this country to be better, is we have to hear them out and then let them know that the issues and concerns that most of them have can actually be solved on really Donald Trump and Republicans' viewpoint. It's just we're coming at it from a different way. Now, there are some people that just, there's no solving it. If you want to be able to chop your kids' fucking, genitals off and give them a double mastectomy, sorry, bro, can't help you. There's not a solution in the Republican Party or in the Make America Great Again movement. What there is a solution to say is your child needs a lot of help, and we want to be able to provide some type of therapy that is going to be getting them through this process. But no, we will never affirm having children be mutilated. That's a deal breaker. And so, like, there's certain things like that. But to your point, Pro, I think that Minnesota and in certain areas that you're in Georgia are reflective that Republicans just have been losing the messaging battle. But the only way that we can ever win that battle is we actually have to create a true counter message that gets through to the people. And I think that like even like a show like this helps do that, right? Of getting people brought into the fold that may not otherwise hear some of these different opinions and perspectives. And so you do that on a larger scale, then people are like, aha, I see what you're talking about. And I think that's how we actually combat it. Because the idea that the legacy media is going to like all of a sudden, turn on a light switch and be like, oh, I guess we're going to be like in the middle and just tell the news as it is. I don't think that's going to happen.
Never. Never. It's their tool to keep them where they are, dumb as hell, missing all the important stuff, and eating nothing but fluff, right? That keeps them out of the true political game. It keeps them out of the true financial game. It keeps them out of the true trade of it all. They're the sheep inside the pen, just wallowing around in the grass, head down chewing. That's it. Head down chewing. In their phone scrolling, chewing. That's where they are.
Chewing hard.
Chewing hard. But we'll get it. There's so many people waking up. There's so many things that are just blatantly obvious now to where they're like, all right, this ain't real. Something's got to change. Where do we go? How do we change? It's got to be a movement of people who are more inclined to teach and to have those conversations and to reach across the aisle. And I'm not sure how your Republican Party in your area, the state, the county, the district, I'm saying, I'm not sure how they are with wanting to reach out to the others. You know, a lot of them are scared of Big Tent. You know, I know you've probably heard that a few times, you know, saying around your travels in Minnesota. They don't like the Big Tent. Georgia definitely, man, please. We're fighting the MAGA movement here, you know, because it's a big tent and they don't like the big tent. They like the comfortability of it all. Um,
Yeah, here's what's crazy. Okay, so Minnesota, because you and I talked about this, pro, when we were at HotepCon this year.
mhm,
We were kind of like chopping it up, and the difference between Minnesota and Georgia, Georgia has like an established Republican machine, right? And so it's like they feel that they have their way, their process, and it's hard to break through to get them to want to hear you out, right? That's your struggle. Minnesota, we don't have that problem. We don't have a machine. We have a please God, someone please tell us what we should do. So, and so the crazy part is, okay, like as insane as this sounds, so the current chairman of the Republican Party of Minnesota is a guy named David Hann, and I have got to know David personally, and he's a guy that's like, if you give me an idea, I want to try and run with it, right? And so he has recently hired a current state rep in Minnesota. His name's Walter Hudson. And me and Walter, we've been able to connect. And there's a guy that's running for deputy chair. His name's Kip Christensen, because we actually have party elections. And we've had these conversations like dating back to the RNC when we went to the convention in Milwaukee about here's things that we can do. And there's so many other players that are just like, here, let's try these things. And basically it's like, okay, go try them. Like no one's like, absolutely not. You're not going to do this thing. And so it's actually the opposite, right? It's like,
yeah.
you know, show us that you can try and do something. So this crazy thing happened just days before the election. Shout out to a gal that has been just steadfast and wanting to break into other communities. Her name's Ava. Ava was able to organize this organic. Again, this is not top down. This wasn't the Republican Party of Minnesota organized this. This was Ava going out and talking with different Somali American leaders. And she organized this crazy press conference of all these Somali Americans that came out. There was, I think, 12 or 13 imams that endorsed Trump. Now, some people were like, oh, why'd you do it like 4 days before the election? And again, this was an organic thing, right? And it went pretty viral. Like, I think I made a TikTok on it. It got like 3.7 million views. A couple of people shared videos on X and they were getting millions of views. And these are things that we can build on. I've had multiple meetings with different leaders in the Somali American community. And I know that people that have been around for a while are going to roll their eyes and be like, yeah, we hear that every election cycle. But you want to know the difference? I'm not a dude that just will pay lip service. I'm a dude that says, if we actually want to have real lasting impact, this election cycle, to me, it was too late, right? Like we need to start building these relationships 2, 3, 4 years before the target
Mhm,
election that we want to go
mhm.
into. And now that I'm in leadership, like I have a board, I have a seat in the state executive committee here in Minnesota, the Republican Party of Minnesota. And again, there's no one that I've ran into in the state executive committee is like, please don't do that. They're like, please, God, give us an option. And it's like, yeah, we got to plan some things out. We got to get some stuff figured out. But ultimately, that's the difference between us and Georgia is like, there's no system of power. So no one can sit there and try and be the king of nothing. Right.
Gotcha.
Sometimes I can see that happens. Like, I want to be the king of this hill that I have no power because at least it's a hill. That's not the issue in Minnesota. The issue in Minnesota is convincing people that there's a path because no one else is doing it. And then also, like, we're outspent by Democrats in the state like 70-1. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, the Democrats will have in certain areas, right? Like certain areas were closer. But like, for instance, the Republican Party in Minnesota, we've got like 4 people on staff. The Democrat Party of Minnesota has 70, right? So it's just like they can do a lot more than we can. And so we still make it competitive. Like Trump got one of the highest Republican votes, again, going back years and years and years, right? Like he got like 46 point something percent of the vote. He was close, man. He got more votes than he did in 2020. He gained that vote share, but we're close. We're building on something, and it's like we can't forget about the outstate areas. We have to continue to turn out higher numbers there. We're almost like capped out in certain areas, but there are areas in outstate Minnesota that we didn't cap out, that we still can get more. And how do you do that? Well, you got to build relationships over the course of the next 2 years. into the 2026 election cycle and then into the 2028 election cycle. But here I am. I'm in the infrastructure. I have my position and I have a seat at the table. It's a 4-year term. And as long as I don't go crazy and say screw it and resign, I'm going to be part of the actual process moving forward. So that's what's hopeful about Minnesota. And I guess you could also blame me that if in the next 4 years nothing changes, you'd be like, yeah, AK, it's your fault. And I'll take it. I'll be like, yeah, you're right. I tried, it failed. And I'll even have a conversation about why I think it failed.
Respect. I'm excited about the ideas. Couple quick things here. There's like 3 things I wanted to get to. One, I want to ask both you and Pro. Well, I got you both here, and I know we're coming up on it out pretty quick. It's just me who we love. He's such a supporter. If he throws a question in, I got to give it.
Yeah.
AK, you got to get someone to check the Bix warehouse that Waltz bought in 2020 for COVID body overflow. That never happened. I believe they are using it to do a ballot operation and ship them all over the U.S. So that's some good info for you there.
Bro, so I would say for that dude, for It's Just Me, follow me on X or whatever and send me a DM. And dude, why not? I mean, like I said, like whatever. I know people all over. I'll have someone go take a look. See, is there an operation going on in this building? And at least that way it can be dispelled. If it's nothing, if it's a nothing burger, it's an idea. Why not? I'm not going to shoot it down.
Yeah. And then bam, give you your flowers here. As you see, a very popular show, Redacted News, featured you recently. I was like, a little while back, but they featured you in one of your rants. I can't find that rant of yours, but I wanted to show that you're getting that national love. Also, you're huge on TikTok. Is that right?
I'm growing, man. I'm growing. I'm up to, I'm almost 150,000 on TikTok. And yeah, man, I mean, just growing. And to be honest, like I could probably spend more time like going and doing live. I don't do lives on TikTok. I literally just create videos and upload them. Like I don't really engage at all in the TikTok land, because I tried to one time like a year ago, and I was like, yo, this is like a bunch of grown ass adults acting like children because like their favorite creator like had beef, and like you and I'm like, I don't want none of it. Like I'm good, bro. I just want to create content, and if we can have cool conversations, but it's crazy. It's like some like high school drama shit. It's real. Weird. But so that's why I don't like jump into any of these communities. Like I'm just like AK. Like I'm the AK dude. If people connect with me and we vibe, it's cool. But yeah, so that's where I'm at there. And on that redacted piece, I was talking about the 4Bs, right? The movement shaving their head. And I was like making a funny joke about like how it's gonna be a signal. So if you're a young man and you see a woman walking around with shaved head, you know, like talk to her for a second. But if you see or exude and she's not a cancer patient that's in recovery, or she's not, you know, suffering from alopecia, if you get any of the vibe that it ain't those two things, don't waste your time, dog, because like these people are nihilistic. And so I was making a video about that, and that's what they showed on Redacted. So shout out to that. Like I had a buddy that randomly he sent me a screenshot. He's like, bro, you're on this show. And I was like, I never had heard of the show, to be honest. Like,
oh damn.
Yeah, I had no idea even what the show was. And then I looked back through and I was like, oh wait, like I think one of the it's husband and wife combo, right?
Yeah,
yeah. The wife is following me on X, but she never like specifically reached out to me. But whatever. I take the love wherever it comes.
Yeah.
I don't care about attribution. Like I figure it'll all be equal someday. So whatever, man. So anyone that shares my content, I don't care if you rip it and share it and you don't attribute to me, it's still getting my face out there, man. So whatever, do your thing.
And then final thing before I kind of turned you over to Pro, and I know you never have enough time. You know, one day, please do return, because I want to get deep into some of the processes with you. Not as exciting, but so interesting, especially to have you and Pro here who really understand. Hey, you're a guy, right? You are a small business owner. You own a shake and tea shop, a roofing company. You're the guy that they need to get involved in local politics. The reason things aren't the way you want them is because you're not involved, right? So, and that goes from school boards to permitting to parking, right? To plumbing, to, you know, tourism, to you name it. It's the power that those local folks have that I think the media has done a great job of taking that away from. But the final thing I wanted to show here, I will show the intro comedy. It's only about 30 seconds long, and then get your opinion on the idea that Elon is going to buy MSNBC partnership with Donald Trump Jr. All right.
What's up, guys? Boy,
Enough
Benny.
of that silliness. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. What do you guys think about the idea that Donald Trump Jr., along with Elon Musk, might be buying MSNBC? And Joe Rogan has already committed to doing a show on MSNBC if they buy it. True story.
Listen, man. I think it's all part of the lulls and the trolling. I love the troll culture. Just listen, man. Like, we got to get some get back. You got to get a little bit of pep in our step. I mean, the way that the media, they went in, dude, this cycle, man. Like, the whole, like, Trump is a fascist, his followers are fascists. Like it's crazy how wild that they went in on that. So yeah, it's hilarious to imagine Elon buying MSNBC, because I believe Comcast was basically putting them up for sale in a package. It was like MSNBC and CNBC and a couple of other products, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think it would be hilarious if it did, but I honestly don't think it would. Because why? Like, what specifically would you want to buy as their IP? Did they do anything that's like cutting edge technology? I doubt it. NBC probably owns most of that, and their viewership is garbage anyways. It's been garbage, and they're gonna not just suddenly turn on and be like, oh, well, let's listen to Elon Musk finally, when they've been told that Elon Musk is basically Hitler as well. So yeah, man. I mean, it's funny. I think, again, you got to get the lulls, you got to get the trolling rolling. I did a whole thing. I didn't go as hard as I thought I was going to, because I kind of, like, after I was doing it, I saw other people and I'm like, I don't want people to think I'm like just copying other people. But I had made a list. I bookmarked something like 140 tweets, and I just went and I was just posting GIFs and memes so I went on like Reface, and I took a bunch of GIFs and I put my face on it. Yeah. And I was just posting them to these tweets that I had saved that were like trying to dunk on Republicans of how bad Trump was going to lose and stuff. So I did that. I probably did like 25 tweets. And then I saw other people were dunking on people too. So I was like, okay, I guess I stopped dunking. But in my heart, I was down with all the other people that were dunking too, man.
Heck yeah, I love that. That's what that is right there.
What do you think, bro? What do you think, bro?
Yeah, I think they really want to buy it. I think they want to like take us podcaster people. I don't know, like, maybe because the apparatus is actual news, right? It's supposedly news. Like, take it and stuff our people in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we fall under this. We have to be news. These are real stories. This is journalists. Like, this was the infrastructure of news. You know what I'm saying? So we have all of these. What did Trump say? They needed oh man, was the FCC? They get like they get approved by the FCC to actually be news, right? Because he said, hey, I want to go after CBS's, all these people who was fake news, that was lying. I want to snatch their ability to actually be news, right? So he acquires them. They have this. He brings in his people who are actually news. They're doing, I think, don't they have like a science or a tech division where they do like new tech news and all that stuff? Like they already do this. So like infuse that with us, just like he did with X, right? It was like, yeah, we still call it Twitter, but you know what I'm saying, out of respect, we recognize it as X. But everybody knows, like, you know, every now and then you're gonna slip up and be like, hey man, you still on Twitter? I mean X. You know, because we know what it is. I think he's gonna rebuild it. I think he's, using a Rogan and look, we're gonna have to be on our A game, because they're gonna be AK. Elon's hitting you up. He wants to know if you want a show on MSNBC, Rumble on Rumble. You guys want the Sunday night on MSNBC? Like, I could see him actually like putting us on the mainstream platform, you know what I'm saying, on cable news, because we're already existing on our internet world, but now he's throwing us into that world to where, you know, the regulars, the normies who just looked at us as the internet dweebs are like, oh shit, they're actually on like CNBC, they're on cable news now. Holy fuck. And they're still on the internet, you know what I'm saying? Because Joe Rogan's not going to give up the internet for, you know, saying CNBC or MSNBC, but he'll add it to the repertoire. And I think that's where we are, you know what I'm saying? Like if we look at Elon, he's that dude. He's like, yeah, I'll take your this and I'll flip it into this. I'll take your car and I'll make this awesome Tesla fucking driving machine. I'll take your rocket and how you used to be able to just send them out there and they just fucking fall off and you can't use them no more. No, I'll make them bitches float back down to this motherfucker and land perfectly and we'll reuse this shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I could see that play into reality. Plus, you know, someone says that the Trumps are trying to get into crypto as far as being a purchasing outlet. So if they are able to make those transactions and those purchasings, I mean that could also play into, you know, saying the long scheme of things as far as the rebuild. Like there's so many things on the table, man. There's so many things at play. I don't really know. And I really like to think, as you say, Trump is that dude with foresight. You know what I'm saying? He wants to look way down the road and build towards that. So, you know what I'm saying, he's sitting on the hill in that shiny gold, beautiful monstrosity that's better than Mar-a-Lago. You know what I mean? Like he wants to be that guy. So
Yeah, no. Listen, I will say this, right? Like, I don't think that your analysis is like completely off kilter. All those things could happen, but here's a couple of differences I'll point out. So Elon buying X, really, there was two reasons he did it. One, because he knew that it was this giant public square that had so much potential, but also the way that the communication network is set up, it is ideal for actually sending short burst communications to the moon and to Mars. So there was actually like a long-term strategic value to Elon's overall goal to get to Mars, buying this huge machine known as Twitter/X. When it comes to like buying a news station, basically like a news network, like you have to ask yourself, like, what would be the overall purpose when X is supposed to be, or you know, is gearing or trying to emulate being the biggest platform where media happens, right? Like YouTube/Google is still the king of where streaming and eyeballs go, and they're like head and shoulders above everyone else. They crush all of the major news networks, like all of that. So why would you take a step back just for the lulls? Because I think that network TV is dying, and that what you're going to see is you're going to see media empires that I think X will probably be a good hub for it, where you're going to see a model that exists that within the X infrastructure that they're able to connect with, let's say, Rumble infrastructure or something like that, so they can actually host. And you're going to just have basically, that's where people are going to watch it. They're going to download the app on your TV, and that's where you're actually going to get your programming. And it's not going to stop at just commentary like this. It's going to be producing your own shows. It's going to be Netflix-esque and stuff like that. That's what I see. So buying MSNBC, I don't see how that helps that goal. I would rather just see it die personally, or continue to die, because I think that there's so many constraints that the FCC puts on, because it's just over regulatory on all of these networks, that you really can't even have a real conversation, man. On like, it's hard to have a real conversation on a platform like MSNBC because of how much regulation there is. And so that's the way that I see it. But I also could see that as a kind of like an interim in the meantime until X becomes that. Sure, Elon does it. He kicks it over to whomever and says, make a competitor to Fox News, because Fox News has really been in my gears, because Fox News has also been falling off lately too. They've got a couple of really good people.
Long time ago, bro.
I mean, they have. There's a couple. Like I think Jesse Waters, he's pretty legit. Greg Gutfeld, I think, is legit. But yeah, that's the way I look at it.
All right, man. We know you got the heart out. Tell the people what you got coming up, where they can find you, what you're doing on a reg, and then I'll hit the. We'll let you go. Then I'll hit my opinion on that if you want to hear about it. And I will just say this: something about when you buy a news station and you're officially FCC certified, you get a seat at the table, right? Joe Rogan can't get into a White House press briefing. Tim Pool can't get into a White House press briefing
yet.
Yet. However, if MSNBC with that tag, you get that press briefing and that, you know what I mean? You get in there. That's yet another way to elevate us, guys like us, right? Would be my thought there. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Hit us, AK. Where can they find you? What do you have coming up? Talk to us real fast. Let everybody know.
Yeah, so you can follow me basically on X at Real AK Kamara. Same with Facebook, Instagram, Real AK Kamara. Follow me on TikTok at AK Kamara. I also do have a website, akkamara.com. I still need to figure out how to actually make that work better, but it's just a place that you can go that you can subscribe for future updates. And also I do post some of my video content there as well. What do we got coming up? So just like locally here in Minnesota, anyone that's watching, if you ever want me to come and speak to your Republican Party group, hit me up. I do it completely free. I just believe it's part of, one of my responsibilities. I want to grow the party. If you're interested in learning more about politics, you want to get connected to your local political apparatus here again in Minnesota, reach out to me. I will get you connected directly to those different, party chairs and stuff like that. For your BPOU, we call it Basic Political Organizing Unit. And other than that, if you listen on AM 1130, 103.5 FM, aka Twin Cities News Talk, I'm on with John Justice every Friday morning from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. And I'm actually going to be launching a once weekly show with a gal named Bella D'Angelo. We've already done I think 6 episodes, but we were trying to get our technology figured out. As you guys probably understand very well, you just got to figure out even internet speed connections and getting a hard wire and getting a computer that has more RAM. I had to double the RAM on my computer. And that's why if you watch this episode with me compared to the last episode, my last episode, I'm choppy and freezing up and all that different stuff. But we're launching that show, and it's probably going to launch next Tuesday. And if not next Tuesday, maybe the Tuesday after that, we're going to kind of rebrand it. And that's going to be called Red, Right, and Real with Bella and AK. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Right, and real.
Follow him on YouTube. I done did that already. If you ain't followed him on YouTube already, man, you're late to the game. I done already pressed that subscribe. Y'all go follow Red, Right, and Real, man.
Hey, appreciate it. All right, y'all. I will catch you on the flip side. Like you said, guys, I would love to be on for a full stream, and hopefully we can make that happen the next time.
Absolutely.
Because I'm moving around some of the stuff that I'm doing out there to get paper. Because as I continue to grow my profile, I'm making a little bit more monetization from these different platforms, and then I can be a full-time content creator. How dope would that be? So
hey man, we gotta you gotta throw a big party, bring Pro and me up there for DJ party events. We'll do it, man. Let's get it going, bro. We're down.
Let's do it.
You know what I mean? You two would be great together. I got the production end of it. We'll kill it. I'll tell some jokes even. We'll have a good time. Anyway, thank you so much, AK. We appreciate you. We love you. Come back anytime you want. We'll go live with you. And thank you so much, man. Thank you, brother.
All right, man. Hotep and build.
Hotep and build, brother.
All right. That was awesome. That was the incomparable AK Kamara, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, guys, powerful, man. What'd you think?
Powerful as shit.
Powerful as shit. You guys are in the same vein. I'll tell you that. Lucky enough to get to talk to a lot of different walks of life folks throughout the course of a week. Everybody from folks who give 0 Fs about politics, to clearly folks like you and him who make a living in it to a certain extent, are elected officials on that level. And I got to say, you two kind of preach the same message. couldn't be farther apart in the country, practically, geographically. But you guys really preach the same message, man. And that is, if you are local, get involved local. If you are, if you are local, you got to help out the people like you, because you're the first people they complain about and the last people they think about. Sometimes they don't even know your names, but you're the people going to battle for them in these meetings that people aren't showing up to like they should and stuff.
They got to get their ass involved, man. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what kind of jolt to the system that they're going to need, but they got to get involved. If not, nothing's going to happen for them, man. Nothing's going to happen for them. It's a hell of a fight. I'm glad there's brothers like AK in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? That matches the same spirit that I got going on here in Georgia. That's actually involved. And again, that's why I say, bro, I don't, people get mad. I don't respect Candace Owens or the grifters, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because like if they were involved in their county, in their state, I wouldn't say nothing. I wouldn't say nothing. Right. But because they're not, and yeah, they may do good work and get people to talk about it. Okay, cool. But with that star power, are you also doing what you have to do in your local area, speaking at these meetings and shit? Look, people can say what they want to about motherfucking Primetime 99 pimp on the blimp, Alex Stein, you know what I'm saying? But Alex Stein takes his ass to these meetings. He goes to these meetings, whether he's trolling them or not. He still goes to the meetings, and that's real.
And he changes the game in these places. You see, that's how he became famous. You know what I mean? Shout out to Jonah in the building. You know what I mean? Jonah in the building. Candace knows what she's slanging, you know what I mean? So, but I completely agree with you there. Wanted to pulled this up on X. This is this just came out a couple days ago, and this was FEMA blatantly admits 20 homes were skipped because they had Trump signs on them. And I wanted to, kind of play this. And because this is, not only your part of the world and your area, this is also stuff you actually deal with legitimately. Wanted to kind of play this and get your thoughts on it if you hadn't seen it yet. And for the folks listening.
Environment that had stated that those people made them feel uncomfortable, and that was the reasoning for them passing over these homes. What can you tell me about community trends in regards to this allegation that you made?
Our disaster survivor assistance teams, part of what they do is go out into the community to understand what the impacts are and to understand what the survivor needs are. This is often called community trends, but things that we are looking at are impacts to access, roads that are out, water infrastructure, needs of the community, like many places around South Carolina required oxygen bottles.
If I can just interrupt you real quick, how many people have been impacted by avoidance and de-escalation? Do you have a number for that just nationally, or is there a database for that?
I can tell you that for this particular incident at the direction of our employee, 20 homes were skipped.
Disgusting.
Take that back to the top one more time. Take it to the top one more time. I couldn't. Run it back one more time. Yeah, the volume kind of sucked. Run it back one more time.
They uploaded it on mono, so it's only coming out one channel. So I was like, and I'm tweaked on it. So
my last question for you is in regards to community trends. Marnie Washington had alleged that was what was put into a system that would mitigate these interactions if they felt that it was dangerous. And these communities, a lot of them were conservative and Trump supporters, that they felt that FEMA had created an environment that had stated that those people made them feel uncomfortable. And that was the reasoning for them passing over these homes. What can you tell me about community trends in regards to this allegation that you made?
Our disaster survivor assistance teams, part of what they do is go out into the community to understand what the impacts are and to understand what the survivor needs are. This is often called community trends, but things that we are looking at are impacts to access, roads that are out, water infrastructure, needs of the community, like many places around South Carolina required oxygen bottles.
If I can just interrupt you real quick, how many people have been impacted by avoidance and de-escalation? Do you have a number for that just nationally, or is there a database for that?
I can tell you that for this particular incident at the direction of our employee, 20 homes were skipped.
Boom.
Avoidance and de-escalation. See, I want to go find the whole clip because I want to know by, all right, you say avoidance and de-escalation. How many of them were de-escalations and how many of them were avoidances? All right.
Right.
And in the de-escalations, how did it start? Like, I would like to know the reports on this, because if you just say, oh yeah, if you don't feel comfortable with going to this house, you don't have to.
Right. Right. Let me see.
And then, we found out that, oh, she says she has 20 of them. Then all 20 of them is avoidances because these are people who don't like Trump supporters, so they're not going to their door. Like, that's what I want to know. And I'm willing to bet that all 20 of them were Trump supporters, and they just felt like, just like you have oh shit. Oh man, let me go pull this up because this was crazy. On the same damn token, bros, on the same damn token, you have the DOJ that is having therapy sessions.
Yeah,
Therapy sessions now.
Ah,
Let me find this right quick. Holy crap. There we go. Not the DOJ, State Department. It's all good though. Same, almost the same difference. Here we go. Bringing this up right now.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I was trying to pull up a better vid. Boom, there we go. Yes.
Managing stress during the change. Biden-Harris State Department holds therapy session after Trump wins.
We're down, Jonah. Hit me up. DM me.
Washington Free Beacon. Biden-Harris State Department organized an in-house therapy session for employees early Friday following the Donald Trump's election victory. 4 sources with knowledge of the meeting told the Washington Free Beacon. Managing stress during change read an internal State Department email sent across the agency that encouraged employees to attend a 1-hour session in which they could discuss their feelings about Tuesday's election results. When we say we have to get rid of bureaucracy, guys, this is what we're talking about here.
This is what we mean.
Goodness gracious, bro. So it's right. It's these people, right? It's these machines that we have to get rid of, that we have to, the people, replace. You have to wake up and realize that they are tricking you into feeling this way, into following their every move. There is a machine. There is old people sitting in a room like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and they're gonna follow. We're gonna do that right over there. Like, these are the people who study psychology, paid people millions and millions of dollars for particular psychological things to happen to you. They know what they're doing.
And think about and why? Why would they spend so much time and money if controlling you wasn't so important? I'm just gonna ask, right? Nobody spends money on shit they don't care about. You know what I mean? Unless you got fun money, but at the end of the day, hundreds of millions.
I'll do you even better. I'll do you even better. These people expect a return on their investment. So they're not going to spend any money that they don't anticipate coming back multifold.
Exactly. There's a reason for that.
I don't know. And I know it's hard for a lot of people to fathom that. It really is. I understand. But when you see it and you see like Georgia election fraud, right? They did all the fraud in the hood. Why did they do the fraud in the hood? Because they also said that they were being racist when it came to voting and voting suppression. And they were attacking your ability and your right to vote. Look, in Georgia, bro, Georgia, the Democrats still won all of their normal counties.
Not
Blacks came out in record numbers. And they still keep saying we got voter suppression in Georgia. Really?
how does that work?
Really? How do you break records by having the most voters ever and still say you have voter suppression? That does not make sense. But they don't look at it that way. They don't think about it that way. It shows you on point. Yes, these people did. Yeah, they got them hook, line, and sinker. You can pull off any fraud you want to and say you want to go check it. And the first thing they're gonna say, you're being racist. You're trying to suppress my vote. Look what just happened. Look at the mom and the daughter. Joe Biden gave them medals.
Yeah.
They literally, we all watch these people count the same votes over and over and over and over. No one can explain to me how that is right.
No one can explain to me how you get a gold medal or a presidential medal of accommodation. Like, come on, guys. Now you're just shoving it in our face, right?
Now you
Like,
just shoving it in our face.
stop. So,
Why
also,
she get this medal? Oh, because Rudy Giuliani was being racist to her, and she was just doing her job, and she got attacked by all the Trump sycophants, so she deserves a medal. No, you gave her a medal because she pulled that cheat off for you, and just Mike just said you rubbing that shit in our face like we didn't see what the fuck we know we just seen.
well, it gives credibility. It's like, how dare you question a woman of color with the Medal of Honor? You know, that's you racist sons of. By the way, shout out. I'm wearing my OU hat. Normally I don't. I forgot to shout out. AK's team won. Minnesota Vikings won in overtime with the Bears by 3 points. Shout out AK's team. And then my OU team beat Bama last night, just a few miles from where I grew up. Shout out OU football. We were a 4-1 underdog, and we took it. And I just want to let you know, in life, you're an underdog a lot of the time, but you know what? You hit harder. You make them pay. You give it your all, and sometimes you freaking win. You know what I mean? So
I want to say appreciate you, man. I appreciate y'all for putting Bama in the dirt because now Georgia's going to the SEC championship.
that locks Georgia. Yeah. Locks Georgia into the playoffs.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. No, to put that comment back up. Hell no, we can say Ruby Freeman motherfucking name. I couldn't think of her name. I wanted to say something else.
Ruby Freeman, y'all. By the way, there's a new there's a new before we get into that, while we're thinking about it, a new Clarence Thomas documentary, and Tucker Carlson does like an hour interview with the documentarian. It was really cool. They mentioned Savannah. They mentioned his father had like an ice truck, I believe, or his grandfather, and his grandfather raised him with like
you
this
said
ice truck.
who did a new documentary?
A new documentary on Clarence Thomas is coming out, and the guy who did the documentary just did it like an hour long interview with Tucker Carlson, and it was really interesting. So it's on his Rumble. I'll send it to you. So, but they mentioned Savannah. We were watching it this morning, me and the wife, and of course they mentioned Savannah, and we thought of you. We were like, oh, I was like, so the greatest black man to ever live and Clarence Thomas came from Savannah, Georgia. That's crazy. What I'm saying. So,
Yeah, man.
Kidding.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna know what that is. He has one called Created Equal. I suggest everybody go and watch that fucking movie, Created Equal. Matter of fact, let me see here. All right, hold on. I feel you. It just slipped my tongue. I wanted to say something else. Ruby Freeman wasn't coming out. I forgot somebody else was about to come out, but it wasn't Ruby. It wasn't Ruby. All right. Let me share this to you. Stop it. Playing all these games with me. We got to talk about World War III in a minute too, because I think it's gonna happen.
That's funny. That's a nice little.
I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah, we didn't get into. That's the thing with AK. There's so much to get into, and he drops, and he's going so well. And when he is talking about something, you're getting a really great point of view. But I definitely wanted to ask him about this World War III move shit that's going down right now. Boom.
Actually, this is Created Equal. It's a damn good film. I'll show you where to watch.
Judge Thomas, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Please be seated.
When I was 6, I wandered the streets by myself. You were hungry and didn't know when you'd eat. Someplace in my life, the road split off. I'd gone to the seminary. I'd gone to all white schools. I was never going to be a part of that world. I was never going to be white. The problem is I can never go back completely to the world I came from. We're supposed to be revolutionaries. We were for anybody who's kind of in your face. I saw what I had become, lashing out at every single thing. And then I asked God, if you take anger out of my heart, I'll never hate again. And that was the beginning of the slow return to where I started.
I want my candidacy to unify our country.
I was under constant attack. You're not really black because you're not doing what we expect black people to do.
That I will nominate Judge Clarence Thomas to serve as Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court.
That's when all heck broke loose.
Judge Thomas began to use work situations to discuss sex.
We know exactly what's going on here. This is the wrong black guy. He has to be destroyed. He really didn't matter. What mattered was what they wanted.
So you'd still like to serve on the Supreme Court?
I'd rather die than withdraw from the process.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to say I lived up to my oath and did my best.
When I tell you that is an amazing documentary, let me show you where you can catch it at.
Powerful.
Everybody can go watch it right now, today. Everybody can go watch it right now, today.
James, are we keeping the glasses on or off? Does it?
TubiTV.com. If you got Tubi on your TV, that's good too. Click on Tubi, type in Created Equal.
And if you don't have Tubi, really, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Tubi is a great and it's all free. It's a great free app. It's one of the best free apps out there, bro. Just saying. So that's amazing. Yeah, man. I forgot about the whole Anita Hill thing until I saw when he said that. And what they did to him is it's so funny how, I read an interesting thing the other day and it's just true. It's simple, not new, but it's profound and true. And it's just that when people cannot control you, they will try to control how other people see you. And Clarence Thomas is a perfect example, as well as maybe the brother sitting to my right now, of you will not be controlled. No, you know what I mean? No, I don't care. I could have a bag of money and be like, "Pro, do this for this," and be like, "Not if I don't think it's the best thing for me." You know what I mean? I've got to stay true to my truth. So respect, man. That's not the easiest way to be in life. That's just not right. So
it's not, man. Especially when it's a bag of money in front of you. Like, ooh, really?
You already know how that works.
Right.
Yeah, let's see here. There it is. Okay, so we'll just watch like the first 30 seconds so you can get this guy's name. And then something I want to mention about Clarence.
Welcome to Tucker Carlson Today. Clarence Thomas rarely gives public speeches. He doesn't give interviews to news outlets. What is Clarence Thomas like? It's an interesting question, and very few people know the answer. Mark Paoletta does know the answer. He's a close friend of Justice Thomas and his wife, Ginny. He's their personal lawyer. And he's out with a brand new book about the justice called Created Equal, Clarence Thomas in his own words. Mark Paoletta joins us now. Mark, thanks so much for coming on. What a subject.
It's not a new book.
Yeah, called Created Equal, and that's his. The
Yeah,
one thing I wanted to show was
That's not a new book.
they just dropped. Yeah, maybe
That's the name of the documentary. That's the
he did.
book. That's the memoir. Yeah.
That is what I wanted to show right there. They were talking about how these are nuns at a retirement home, and he's already Clarence Thomas at this point, right? He's already a Supreme Court justice. You know what I mean? Pretty good. He's good for life, right? Literally, he doesn't need to do anything nice for anybody for any reason ever. And he goes, these ladies were a part of his life. For those, I know you know, but for those that don't know, these ladies helped raise him when he went to school. They taught him, and these are all nuns. And he still went back. They're retired, and he still went and visited them. Look, I mean, they're eating. It's not gourmet food. That's, retirement home food. And he's sitting at a table and made sure he went back and stayed in these ladies' lives in their 80s, just because he's that level of human being, which we don't have many of those levels of human beings left anymore. So that was touching. So yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah. Very, 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 very down to earth, loving guy. Don't forget where he come from. He just respects and loves those who show love and respect to him. Like he literally, let me see. Let me see. It's time. All right. So something was happening. Back during the Trump era, motherfuckers got mad, and they were trying to, or did they succeed? The Clarence Thomas Center for Historic Preservation. All right.
Yep.
He has this building named after him, and they were doing their best to get his name taken off of it, to get him removed. And it's literally right on the street at the church. This is the church that he went to. He went to the St. Benedict the Moor school. He was taught by nuns. His granddaddy got him in that school.
Very cool. Why would they want to? What was the reasoning for taking his name off of it?
Racist, and he was, because Donald Trump was racist, and he was the conservative with Donald Trump in office. This was during the Trump years.
Ugh.
This was during the Trump years. Let me see.
And while you bring that up, may I say, just for fun, let me read this real fast. Jonah, I used to snort Ritalin in front of Sister Sasquatch in my grade 9 religion class. Yes, a long time ago. I may have been a young troublemaker. Hey, man, we are who we are, Jonah. Fair enough. What I wanted to say about the libs and how they self-own is, do you realize they didn't, if they would have not stolen the, okay, yes, screw it, I'll say it. If they would have not stolen the election and Trump would have got in, they'd have been done with Trump. And we'd have had maybe Gavin Newsom, who knows, maybe a Kamala, who knows, but more than likely we would have a Democratic president in, right? And so instead they elect this lame duck dude who just makes everything worse on a maintenance level and just does a poor job of maintenance until they thought they could get somebody else in, tears it all down, and now instead of ripping the Band-Aid off, they had to go 4 years of little hope. Now they've got Trump, so it's a 12-year process. Right? They extended it. And this time around, it was a wave. So, House, Senate, Republican, we're going to hold seats for years now. So that's what they get.
It had to be this way. I'm sticking with the plan. Okay. The plan says that it had to be this way. The people had to be brought to the precipice.
Heck yeah.
And That's what happened, and I'm sticking to it. I'm convinced.
Oh, I'm
I'm very
glad. I just think it's a
convinced.
cell phone. I'm like, if y'all hadn't have cheated, you
Yeah,
could feel good, right? Like right
yeah,
now, we would feel, there'd be no MAGA anything right now
yeah,
because Trump would be gone. And whoever was trying to carry it probably wouldn't be able to, you know what I mean? Like run
yeah.
it the way
We
he
were able
does.
to build up a good, smooth another 4 years of momentum. So now it's like instead of it dying off, I think it's going to keep going for a little while. I do believe there's a true reshaping going on right now, and
Absolutely.
the MAGA movement is going to be something great. We just have to be able to crack into those other demographics and get them to understand the MAGA. We got to get past the Ricky Smiley bitch ass motherfuckers and the goddamn who's the other motherfucker, Steve Harvey and DL Hughley and them six sorry some bitches, and the fucking, I don't know, J-Lo's and the Taylor Swifts and whoever the fuck else, on the other side that convinces those people, the Joy Beharts and shit, them stupid motherfuckers. We got to get past them and their influence, and we'll be all right. But this is that article. It was Roe versus Wade. It was when Roe versus Wade got turned over, which
Ah.
I thought happened. I don't know why I thought happened under Biden and them. But anyway, yeah, they want to remove Justice Thomas' name from the building. SCAD students did it. SCAD students did it. And it's like, you bastards aren't even from Savannah. Like, get the fuck on with that bullshit. Like, nobody care about you liberal, you fucking liberal retards. Which is what's happening now, man. We're getting a lot of liberal retards in the city.
Well, because you have to be a retard to be liberal anymore. They failed any thinking person is like, I don't want to do this. By the way, shout out Amy. She says to be hot take over on YouTube. So yeah, we're doing a little bit different step, trying out things. As you can see, the streams have been solid and good. You know how it is, man. It's like the problem with streaming and the back end producing. It's like being a defense. People only complain when you fail, right? You can do all it and be amazing at it. And they're like, oh, okay. So it's only when you fail that there's a problem. So yeah, that is nuts. Speaking of that, one thing I wanted to pull up here is that Trump looks like he's completed his cabinet. Did you notice that?
Oh, he did.
Yeah, it looks like he's just about there. So yeah.
Okay.
This is an article. Trump completes cabinet with bold choices to make America great again. And this was dropped today. And it kind of goes through his cabinet appointments. And what I wanted to do with you is do the kind of the lightning round thing. You know what I mean? Where I just kind of drop the names and you kind of give me your thoughts. I'll maybe drop a thought or two crack wise on them. You down? You down?
Run it.
All right. Of course, top of the list, Vice President JD Vance.
He's growing on me. He's a millennial.
I'd love me some JD Vance all day. We're cut from the same cloth. Absolutely. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Little Marco. Yeah. I don't know. He used to talk trash about me, but now he seems to like me. And I think I like him too. Little Marco.
Once a rival of Trump. Both guys rivals of Trump back in the day. That's what I'm doing, man. I'm on that Trump plan right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm letting them all hate. So when they come back around, I'll be like, I get it. I understand. You know what I mean? I have Trump powers. Let's see here. Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent. For those that don't know real fast, Scott Bessent is a billionaire hedge fund manager that will lead the Treasury Department with a focus on non-inflationary growth and private investment. Bessent's economic strategies align closely with Trump's America First economic platform.
I don't know. He runs a hedge fund and he's a billionaire. So I got my eye on him.
That's fair. Hopefully he does things to just increase the bottom line and bring inflation down. Of course, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. If you don't know Pete, he is he's one of those guys. He fought on the ground overseas, Army veteran. He actually is the head of a couple of different veterans charities. Strong advocate for military readiness and conservative values. What do you think?
I like that he was a groundsman on the military. we'll see. I want to see him get past this whole sex with a married lady shit.
Oh, is that a thing now? Are they? See, I can't keep up. You know, everybody gets
Yeah.
accused of everything. I trust. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, hey, can we say something bad about him? Let's go. You know,
Right. That's what I
So,
say. I want to see him get past this. That's actually something. So I don't
yeah,
know.
man. Because if I may pause here, the Matt Gaetz thing in my personal, and I would love to get your opinion. My personal opinion on the Matt Gaetz thing is my man Troublemaker Jones says he seems to be legitimately anti-China. He's not a fan, though. Everything that can be done to prevent Kissinger's Belt and Road Initiative. Okay, fair enough. I think Marco should have went. I think he should have went hard. I think he should have went all the way. You know, so
Yeah. I don't know. It depends on what they got on him. What the situation was. There's people who was like Trump didn't even know about it and he was pissed. Which I don't understand that. Like I don't understand that part. Like, how do you not know about it, dude?
I don't know. You know, man, and it's one of those things where if you're that high up, a lot of it has to do with the people around you. Remember, he's dealing with hundreds of people right now, and he is rolling. You know, he's going hard. And so it's like, okay, Matt Gaetz, I like him. Talk to me. It's like he had a little
That
trouble,
was all over,
but
but
was
that
dropped. Yeah.
was all over the news though. That was actually something pretty major when that popped off. I think Trump was in office when it happened, maybe when it hit and went crazy. So
That's fair.
yeah, I don't know. Like that's something pretty important. So I again, I look at it as, you know, it was removing a problematic situation off the table. That's
true.
my look. You know, everyone's like, oh, you know, he really wanted him. Nah, I think that was removing a problematic situation off the table gracefully. Because he fucking resigned from Congress fast as shit. You know what I'm saying? He could have resigned from Congress after he made it through confirmation, right? He
That's true.
resigned ASAP. So, you know, I don't know, man. There's more to it, you know. He was that I don't think that was gonna hide. I don't think it was gonna not go anywhere. They're already talking about the fucking reports going to be leaked out, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it is what it is, man. He was okay. I like the way that he talked trash. I didn't think that he was right for the position. Just for the issue. That's just like George Santos. And I really don't like George Santos. You're not going to make me be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Well, we can look past this George Santos stuff because he is a Republican. No, fuck that. Bitch, you got to go. We can find somebody else who's an honorable statesman who can go in this position and we can handle business. I'm not going to just accept the Republican because he's a Republican. Because then if I start doing that, then you're going to be like, well, hey, you got to accept Lindsey Graham and Cocaine Mitch. And I'm going to be like, fuck no, I don't like neither one of those people. And you can't make me accept them. I think they need to be replaced. They need to be replaced by some true patriotic MAGA people, some people who truly want to make this country great again, not somebody who want to fucking just enrich themselves and fuck everybody else.
Agreed. Absolutely. Let's see here. Let's keep it rolling. And I hear you. I think a lot of it also has to do with speed. You know, I think he's I think Trump is on that. Oh, okay, they're gonna hem us up on that one. Okay, get him out of there. Let's get somebody better in. And what's funny is once again, self-owning liberals, the person he picked to replace Gates is a much harder line person than Gates would have been.
Yeah.
Gates likes TV stuff. So if you could convince Gates this will be good for his image to go easy on you, he might. This chick cares nothing about that. He's putting some Iron Maidens in, and I'm excited about that. So let's see here. Jonah not a fan of Hexeth. He doesn't like his chest tattoo. Then he says Govea covered Gates's response to the investigation. If you have not seen it, protocol. Check that out. He's saying, all right, we're going to keep rolling. Attorney General Pam Bondi, speaking of, Former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi will helm the Department of Justice. Bondi, known for her staunch defense of Trump during his first impeachment trials, expected to pursue aggressive legal policies aligned with Trump's priorities.
I think Pam is going to get, so there's going to be some things she's going to attack. I know she's going to handle. And I like, it's just like what AK said earlier, you know what I'm saying? She was handling business for election integrity. She also was his attorney during the one of the impeachments, right? If not both of the impeachments. So she has some January 6th experience and some governmental, you know what I'm saying, attack experience. She may go in there and go after everything. I look at it, I kind of look at his path the first time. Like he put in Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
Right.
Sessions started some cases, then he recused himself from other cases. And then what Trump loves to use is actors, right? Like acting attorney generals, acting FBI chiefs, acting DNI chiefs. Like he'll use those acting position players to get a lot of things moving. Like they don't have to go through the confirmation process. They're acting, but they still have the power to do everything that needs to be done. So they'll do certain things. I think we'll see like that. We had the test run of that during the first administration. Now we're really going to see some damage because it's a lame duck president. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what goes on with that. The Brooke Rollins choice though, right, for Secretary of Ag.
Yeah.
That's funny to me because hold on. Let me double check. There were some people saying that old girl was being put, but maybe she's put over. Hold on, let me see something. I need to see if this
while you do that, her elevator pitch is that she is a policy expert and CEO of the America First Policy Institute, which clearly has close ties to, if is not, created directly by Trump. Will lead the Department of Agriculture. She will focus on food self-sufficiency and revitalizing agriculture-dependent rural communities.
All right, yeah. So yeah, they fucking head faked the fuck out of them. So yesterday, check this out. I'm gonna share the screen right quick. Pull this up and then you can go back to that. But I just want to show you how fucked up they are. Brooke Rollins, right? She's the Secretary of Agriculture.
Yep.
2 days ago.
They did. They faked that up.
There was either a makeup or a pump fake, like crazy. Somebody leaked out something happened because this was all over the place. And this reminds me, I got to go on this particular Instagram page and hit them up with, so y'all spreading fake news, huh? Yeah, y'all spreading fake news. But
nice.
So they didn't mention his actual pick. You can go back to yours now.
Shout out to Jack Darty in the building. Jack says, "What up, fam? Long time no catch. Barely made it this evening. Glad I did. We are glad you did too, my brother. It is good to hear from you. I was thinking about you, man. Let's talk over Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Let's make sure we do that. So, yeah." And while we pull that back up, all right, bringing it back. We have Brooke Rollins, then we have Secretary of Health and Human Services. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that guy over the agriculture department and health and human services? Yeah, health and human services is over ag and a couple of other departments, I thought.
So. Ag got their own. That's why you got Secretary of Ag.
Right.
They work hand in hand, but he's not necessarily over them. They just work together.
Trump has nominated environmental lawyer, if you haven't heard so far, and vaccine skeptic Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to head HHS. Kennedy's nomination signals a potential overhaul in public health with a focus on transparency and combating chronic disease. What are your thoughts on my man?
Hey, man. I know he was down on the island. He went and visited that island. He was friends with
Oh
old boy.
no, I didn't
So,
know that. Oh
yeah.
no.
So, you know,
Uh,
hey, that's all I got to say about that. What up, LS?
LS in the building. Oh yeah, LS doing it large. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get to the hot ones. We're gonna do the lightning round. So and then Secretary of Education.
Oh no,
Well,
go back up, man, because we got Doug Collins going over to Veteran Affairs. You know what I'm saying? That's that dude, Homeland Security, Christy Noem. I think she's on a border state, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
And
she
she's
is
gonna be ready to
South Dakota governor. Yeah.
So, oh no, she ain't no guy. Well, she on the northern. Is that a northern border up there?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh no, I don't
Maybe
think
not the
so.
South.
No,
That's
hell
North
no.
Dakota.
Anyway, fuck that.
Who cares about the Dakotas? I mean, come on.
that
10 people live there.
part. Like how the hell? I mean, but Homeland Security, I guess. Doug Collins, Veteran Affairs, he out of Georgia, man. The other man, look, Doug was shouldn't have been Kelly Loeffler. It should have been Doug Collins. He should have been the secretary. I mean, not secretary, but the senator out of Georgia. He would have beat the shit out of my boy Kelvin King. I mean, not Kelvin King. Kelvin King would have goddamn been a great ass governor. No, Doug Collins would have beat the shit out of. No, wait a minute. Doug Collins, Kelly Loeffler, and it was Kelvin King. No, Kelvin King would have went against Warnock, state senator. Yeah. Senator Warnock. Anyway, and then we got Linda McMahon. Goddamn right.
Yeah.
Linda McMahon, she was over the Small Business Administration last time. Now she's gonna be over the Secretary of Education. Yeah, boy. Listen, she's gonna go in there and lay the smackdown on the motherfucking Department of Education. God dang, gonna whoop they Rudy Poo candy asses.
Yeah, and of course they left out the one thing I will say they left out there is that it was on the board of education for a state and she stepped down to do this. So
In Connecticut, yeah.
In Connecticut,
She's supposed to be a French teacher, man. She was a teacher at heart. She really wanted to teach, but then she got married to Vince, and that took precedence. And
Very cool.
did you? I'm sure you know, but for watchers, Linda McMahon is the reason that the WWF turned into the billion-dollar corporation. She was in that office whooping ass.
Oh yeah. And because think about Vince McMahon's a big dummy. I mean, he's smart at what he does, but that back end stuff, you could tell that's not him. He knows how to put on the show. She knows how to run the business. It's a different skill set. It just is, right? So yeah. In my opinion. So yeah. All right. Now, wanted to share this, of course, speaking of all of that stuff. And that is this StreamYard. Boom. All right. That is this. Trump's latest pick for housing and urban development, excuse me. And it's Trump finally nominates a black person to serve in his cabinet. Meet Scott Turner, former NFL player and the former executive director of the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council during Trump's first presidency. And of course, they don't even say what they tapped him for in this article. Oh my gosh. Come on, man. You know what I mean?
Scroll up. No, down. I'm sorry. Go the other way.
Executive.
It's right there. Go down.
Yeah. Trump announced in an email, I am pleased to nominate Scott Turner from the great state of Texas as the Secretary of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Scott is an NFL veteran who, during my first term, served as the first executive director of the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council, helping to lead an unprecedented effort that transformed our country's most distressed communities. Those efforts working together with former HUD Secretary Ben Carson, shut up, Ben Carson, were maximized by Scott's guidance in overseeing 16 federal agencies, which implemented more than 200 policy actions furthering economic development. Under Scott's leadership, Opportunity Zones received over $50 billion in private investment. And then he goes on to talk about how after graduating from the University of Illinois, Scott was drafted by the Redskins, spent 9 years in the NFL before he went on to win a state house race in Texas, where he was born and raised. Scott is the founder and CEO of his family's foundation, Community Engagement and Opportunity Council, working to revitalize communities across America through sports, mentorship, and economic opportunity. He is also on the board of the American Cornerstone Institute and an associate pastor at Prestonwood Baptist Church. Scott will work alongside me to make America great again for every American. Congratulations to Scott, his wonderful wife, Robin, and his son, Solomon. There's a good picture right there. Love it. All right. So from the man himself, what do you think about this guy? What do you know about him, if much? And what's funny is if people listen, they know you've talked a lot about what Trump did and these specific things he mentioned during his first term. Yeah, so.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, I know Brother Turner and the work he's been doing, the work he's done. Like he said, he worked with him in the first administration and he handled business. So I'm proud of this. I'm just hoping, like my hope is that more people like actually move to take advantage of these doors that are opening. It's just I'm seeing so much stupid conversation from family and friends and associates when it comes to actually working and using the administration in these offices to get what the fuck we need to get done. And it's almost disheartening just a little bit, but I'm gonna get what I got to get at the end of the day. And those people who listen, we gonna make it happen, and those who don't, fuck them. You know, like that's just where I'm at with it, man. Because we can do so much, man. And I'm glad to have a brother like Scott Turner, man. There's a lot of us like, oh, we about to be the plug. Like we finna be up in DC all the fucking time. Like we finna be
Let's go.
getting what it is that we need to get. We gonna be working at home and like either you get it or you don't, you know? And we gonna be with these kids and we gonna be teaching these kids, like these adults, man. Like my whole thing is like while these adults saying, oh, Trump is this and Trump team is that and da 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 da, I'm gonna be pulling the kids on and they're gonna be seeing and they're gonna be dealing and they're gonna be like, yeah, y'all lying because I'm chilling with these folk and they cool. I'm
Exactly.
dealing with these folk and I don't
Well,
see what y'all talking about.
it says right there, Opportunity Zones received over $50 billion in private investment. Guess
Which
where
they
I want to
did.
be? In one of them
They
opportunity zones.
so they did. The problem is, and this is what I'm showing people, like Trump and them didn't do a very good job at working. Like they didn't come to the hood. You know what I'm saying? This time we're gonna try and make them come to the hood. Like they came a little bit, but they didn't come like they were supposed to. And
Yeah.
you know, shouts out to Sunday Johnson. You know, she told him this, like, yeah, y'all made this and y'all sent this, but there's no oversight. So the local Democrats, they not telling the people about it. They taking over it, and then they're gentrifying. They're using the money and the things themselves. They're gatekeeping on it. They're telling the local people that this is impossible. Y'all
You,
got to get out here and y'all got like I was a man fighting out here in the streets, but I'm just me when I'm fighting against the whole apparatus of the city. The
you're
good thing that I can show them now is like, hey, look, I want y'all to understand. This was Trump and them stuff. They was giving it to y'all, trying to make it happen, and y'all wasn't listening. But your Democrat leaders, they were taking advantage of it because if you look at these people who are forcing you to be displaced out of your neighborhoods and these new people who are coming in and making it too expensive, I want you to understand it's not a Trump sign in their yard. It's a Biden Harris sign in their yard. It's a Kamala Harris sign in their yard. It's a rainbow flag flying on their house. It's a Ukraine flag flying on their house. It's not the Trump people who's gentrifying and forcing you out. It's your own people.
and to bring it back to that, they're taking that money. This is one thing I want to get her on, lady who she was instrumental and starred in the Common Core documentary that Blaze and Glenn Beck did. Want to get her on for maybe like an hour. We'll work on that later. But she's here in the state and she works, and I'm actually going to start doing some not as crazy as Alex Stein, but some Alex Stein style stuff at our board meeting. She's heavily involved in the education. So it's her company is called Rope, and it's re-empowering Oklahoma parenting parents against educators. So because what they don't understand is that money comes, right? But then it comes to a blue, or a Democratic organization. Then they take that money. then they do what they want with it. Then they actually use that money to hinder the process of things. They use that money that you are supposed to get, that Trump made sure you got, to slow things down, to not do things for you, to enrich themselves, and then tell you how greedy and shitty Trump is. Or you would have these things that he gave you money for that they stole from you. So there is that. Yeah, man. Oversight is going to be key. But man, that sure goes back to what you and AK shout out said earlier. And that is that the everyday guys got to get involved. The plumbers got to get involved. You know what I mean? The nurse has to get involved. You know, the school teacher has to get involved, because good Lord, that is rife with corruption. And it doesn't matter whether they're Democrat or Republican, they're corrupt in those power places. And they'll use that Democrat or Republican, but that's not what's important to them. Getting that money, you know what I mean, is what's important to them, I think.
That's what's important to them, yeah.
Well, and as we wrap up, I wanted to show this as well. It's a little more vindication, because the one thing I'm hoping happens immediately is that all J6 prisoners get pardoned, full-on pardons, like immediately, presidential pardons as soon as possible. And this is something I just saw that just hit Twitter today. When the police comes, this man flashes his badge. This was at J6 itself. Let me pull that like that so you can see here. So basically, this was during J6 and everything happening. This man breached the building. And when he did, and they were coming for him, this man flashes his badge to them. And then he's able to go. J6 was the setup. That's why they kept the footage secret for 30 months and why the J6 committee destroyed all the evidence. Absolutely prosecute Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger now. So, yeah. So, and he's flashing his badge there, and they got community noted, of course. You know, no, it's a guy. It's like, what? You know what I mean? Oh, and then here's another one here that I wanted to show you, where they're talking about, let's go undercover. Have you seen this one?
In the crowd. Well, we go undercover as Antifa in the crowd. So, can you put that back in? Well, we go undercover as Antifa in the crowd. Antifa.
I wanted to know if you'd seen that one before, man, because I just saw that one and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I saw that like last year before.
I know you're way up on me, dog. Yeah, I know. I was just doing show prep. I was doing show prep, and I was doing show prep, and I wanted to touch on J6. So I pulled that one up, and I've seen a lot of videos, but I hadn't seen that specific one where the dude literally admits, he's like, we're going Antifa in this crowd. It's like, whoa, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's crazy, man. That's
what they were there for, man.
Yeah, that's some shady stuff. That's some, good Lord, that makes me mad. And that is some shady stuff. And then I got a little comedy Trump video I wanted to play for us. And we'll let you know what we got coming up this week, and we will call it a night for y'all. Unless, Pro, is there anything you wanted to cover?
Oh, man,
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all good.
I know it's Sunday night. Hey, we both had long weeks. You know what I'm saying?
It's been a hell of a week, man. It's been a hell of a week, man. This was fun. I'm really just going to try and reset my brain just a little bit. And
for people that don't know, this is your third day streaming in a row, because you did, and you were on Shaka's show earlier. So you did Friday Night Flights. You did that awesome stream with those kids yesterday. Then you did Shaka's stream earlier today. Then you're doing your show with me tonight. Then I know Tuesday is a very big day for you. Excited for you to talk a little bit about that. And you got a whole week. So want to drop this comedy vid on y'all, because we love you. So we give you some comedy. And
Tuesday will be crazy. I'm going to stream on Tuesday as well. Y'all be ready. Y'all be on the lookout for that.
Heck yeah. All right.
I swear to God, if you idiots elect that demented man, I will burn this whole fucking place to the ground.
I'm done. Nice to meet ya. Having a little trouble with the fact I beat ya? I guess so. Music to my ears got me thirsty, though. Ooh, good question. You done got me buzzing. Nothing hits the spot like an arrogant twat balling on TikTok. Raise a shot. Oh, I've been sipping. Nothing satisfies up the taste of the glass. They're flipping, tipping. Went to my soul, but I never get full. Bottomless glass, no empty cups. Bathe in the rain of pretentious folks who don't listen. I guess in, pour me another Harry Sisson. I'm sipping. Good God, you're a touchy bunch. Fresh juice washing down my lunch. Sanctimonious fruit punch. Lap up the juice of entitled country. Hate them bitches. Drink it like fishes. Delicious. One of my favorite dishes. True chemo wishes. Grinning like Ulysses. Smack it back in business. Oh, I've been sipping, sipping. Enough to satisfy like the taste of the glass they're flipping. Tipping. Went to my soul, but I never get full. Bottomless glass, no empty cups. Bathe in the rain of pretentious folks who don't listen. I'm guessing, send out around a Kathy Griffin. I'm sipping, knowing that they're flowing. Really gets my motor going. I can't help it. I can't help it. They're crying and denying, say they're leaving, but they're lying, throwing nothing. Looking at you, JoJo from Cheers, you're dumb. It's just so good. Oh, I've been sipping, sipping. Enough to satisfy like the taste of the glass they're flipping, tipping. Went to my soul, but I never get full. Bottomless glass, no empty cups. Bathe in the rain of these baby cups who don't listen. I'm guessing, pour me another Harry Sisson. I'm sipping, knowing that they're flowing. Really gets my motor going. I can't help it. I can't help it. They're crying and denying, say they're leaving, but they're lying, throwing nothing. Double press and time, please. I'm sipping.
Yeah, man. I wanted to show you that one. I thought you'd
swear to God.
appreciate that. That was fun. I'm
That's
glad we
hilarious.
got to drop
I like
that one
that.
out there. So, all right, man. So, Pro, tell everybody what you got coming up this week.
All right, Tuesday, you can catch me doing my thing with Savannah Feed the Hungry, man. It's our 16th annual, man. 16 years of doing holiday dinners, man. We're kicking off the holiday dinner season on Tuesday. We're going to have performers, we're going to have music, we're going to have speakers, we're going to have door prizes, we're going to have food, cooked food, and free grocery to take home and put in your refrigerator. Chicken, collard greens. You know, we're gonna have. You don't even have to put in. If you can put it in the refrigerator for Thursday. You know, you may want to cook it on Thursday. It may be something to help take off the list of things you need to get for Thursday. Come on up in there. We definitely gonna have the fresh vegetables and the chickens. We may have turkeys to give away too. I think we got turkeys to give away. I'm over the entertainment. I know what we're supposed to have and the things that are going on, but because I'm over entertainment, I'm really just focused on entertainment.
Bro, I'll
So
be
make
honest,
sure we're
and
situated.
I remember last year, if I lived in Savannah, I come through with 40, 50 bucks, like, and just because it's all free, you just lay it out. But man, you had whole big ass 20-pound chickens, fresh I'm talking tomatoes, vegetables, all grown locally, brought in local, fresh as hell, dude. It would be a blessing for anyone, man. I'm like, man, go through and give a little, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're not taking too much back, but
Yeah.
that's going to be a blessing, man. And then, of course, Friday Night Flight's going to be fire. Are you doing Friday Night Flights? Or are you taking off this week?
I'll let y'all know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll let y'all know.
Because I'm holding you to Sunday. So, you know.
Sunday may be a late day. My daughter's birthday party is.
Oh, yeah. No worries, man. We'll figure it out.
So it may be a late day. We'll figure it out. I don't know. This weekend is going to be interesting. It's holiday weekend, you know. I guess we're all, granted a vacation or holiday time. So
we are.
Anyway, we'll see what happens with that. Outside of that, yeah, man, that's it.
Heck yeah, I love it. And guys, I'm doing the I'm doing, let's see, I'm probably working Tuesday, trying to do the Tuesday thing with the homie. And then let's see here. Share to stop screen, and then I'm gonna present. And then of course tomorrow morning, if they send me the link, I don't know. Sometimes sometimes you don't. So we'll see here. But if they are this is not working, never mind. I was gonna try to bring up the flyer, but it's all good. But if they do send me the link tomorrow, I'll be with Reef and Emily in the morning. And then, of course, Tuesday night, I'll be with Michael Mann, and we'll be getting you pumped up about the Power Slap fights coming up in about a week. And that's, going to be the fun for me. Looking forward to Thanksgiving. Wanted to say I'm thankful for Pro. I'm thankful for the real homies. Believe it or not, I'm thankful for health, man. Sometimes in life, you got to be thankful for your health. And once again, one of those things you don't realize it till you don't have it. You don't miss it till it's gone. So I'm thankful for health, and I'm just thankful to God, man. I'm thankful for, leading me. I'm thankful for bringing me the right people and teaching me the lessons I need to learn. And I'm thankful for all of that this year, man. So that's what I'm thankful for. Follow me, FW Mike, of course, Protocol on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, specifically and especially Rumble and YouTube.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Definitely follow your boy on Rumble, man. I'm trying to get it up, man. Let's see if we can bust open 200 followers on Rumble. I would love to hit 5, but let's see if we can get 200 followers.
Oh, and of course,
we can do that.
I'm very thankful, specifically for this show. I'm thankful it went our way. I'm thankful for the work we did because we did our part, man. We put in the work, we did our part, and we won. And it's beautiful when a plan comes together. So I'm thankful for that. Give me something you're thankful for, and then we'll tell the people good night.
Man, I'm thankful for the journey so far, bro. Without the journey so far, I wouldn't be who I am or where I am as a person, as a man, as a human, as a father. I'm just, thankful for this journey and to be kept during it. And I'm thankful for the rest of the journey along the way for these next 100 years. Yeah, I want to be 136 before I leave here.
I love it. I love it. Let's go. We got a lot to do, so we need some time. Fair enough. Guys, thank you so much. And for you get the
a little bit of this right here.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Look up your local food bank if you're in the Savannah, Georgia area. Pro's got you hooked up on Tuesday for food. If you're in the Oklahoma City area, DM me. We got some food we can help you out with as well. Happy Thanksgiving and good night.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.